So let's go into the scenarios. I think that's the key and crucial element that you might be waiting for. Let's talk about retail. So there, I can see four scenarios where retail has a bright future. First one is you understand that customers are providing you with information. And that information can be, I understand the product is not relevant for me, the product is too expensive for me, or the product is for my brother, or whatever. These are information that you can get when you observe a customer in the store. And there is a company called Beta. So you can look it up at Beta, and the E is an 8.com. What they're doing is they're asking the industry to pay them a certain amount to have the product on shelf. Their business model is not selling products. So every time they're selling something, the industry gets the 100% of the amount, because what they're paying for is information. So they're paying them weekly, monthly, or whatever deal to have the product on shelf. And on a dashboard and on a weekly report, they get all these answers from Beta. What are customers asking about our product? Do they understand the product? Do they want the product? What would we have to change that they want the product? Sometimes it's a lot cheaper to discontinue something than to try to throw good money after bad money. So there is a huge potential in this. Beta actually has grown that big that they just purchased Toys R Us, and they're reopening Toys R Us in New York soon. Just so much about that. Another one is data to customer. Amazon is really good at that, right? When you think about Amazon that have disrupted the bookstores, and now they've opened them 4 or 5 years ago, the brick and mortar bookstores again. It sounds weird, but when you go there and look at it, you understand why they're doing this. Because as a data company, they know things like these books have been read in 3 days or less, because from Kindle, they know from the readers when they read a book in one go or in 3 days. So you can see a shelf. They're called unput downables, books that have been read in 3 days or less. It might be relevant information because you go on a weekend trip and you need that book. Or you just assume that if someone's read a book in a go or in 3 days, it might not be such a bad book. Or you have a shelf where you see a book and then there's an arrow. If you like this book, and then you have 3 books on the other side, you will love these. Things that we know from online. And it's beautiful because you go there and you feel like, wow, it's the tangible experience from what I've seen online before. Then you have a shelf book that have been rated 4.8 stars or higher, which is relevant, right? Because enough customers rate a book high, makes it a good book. And then you have below the book, you have a little printout of customer reviews. Like in the old days where the curator of the bookstore has his handwritten notes below the book. And when you came in, he would give you the book. But they were disrupted by the bookstores that were determined by the lowest price and dump people in the store. Now they don't have to have the smart people in the store. They can still have the people who are not literate, but they have this information because they have their online community. So reviews that are relevant for more than 10,000 people are eligible to be printed out, and you can see a black printout of the book review written by a customer, and you're part of a community. And all of a sudden it makes sense that they went back to the store, to the brick and mortar. And of course, if they deliver online, from online, they know which books are relevant in the area of the bookstore. So they don't need to have thousands of books on shelf. They just need the books that they know are relevant for the people in the neighborhood of that store. So you can flip the book back to the cover and you don't have to look at the back, which is a lot nicer and a lot friendlier experience when you go to the bookstore. So when you have this data and you turn this data to something that's relevant for the customer, you come up with a lot more relevant product. The third one, Amazon again, Amazon Go. I don't know if you've ever experienced, it's a store where you sign up. So you go in and you sign up with your Amazon account, and you go to the shelf, you pick whatever you want and you leave it. The first time you do it, you feel like stealing something, but you're not stealing it. The system knows exactly what you're taking. And you can take for granted that every concept, every idea of tricking the system has been played through by smarter people than us. And it works. So even if you trade among your friends and you take something and you put it in a different shelf, whatever you can think of, the system has tried it already and simulated it already, and it really works. And you're asking yourself, when I'm in the grocery store, why do I actually have to check out? Because that's the most boring part of grocery shopping, right? Queuing in line in front of the checkout. They know that I'm there, they know what I'm taking, so let me just take it and leave. And that's what it is. It's a seamless experience. And all of a sudden, grocery shopping is not so annoying anymore. And the fourth one that I think has a huge potential, and that's turning customers into community. there is an Austrian retail chain called Wein & Co. And they had a huge success 15 years ago. And they didn't have a huge success 15 years ago because selling and consuming and talking about wine was such a popular thing. They had a huge success because when you went there, and they also had bars, when you went there, you were in a good mood from second one because it gave you the feeling that you're part of a community. You went into the Wein & Co. store and you were part of a community, and that gave you a good feeling. And people went around the streets with their Wein & Co. bags, even though they didn't go wine shopping, because they wanted to let others know that they're part of this community. And customers are community. Apple is doing today at Apple, I think 50,000 events a year, where they invite people just to come there, and they do workshops and trainings and presentations and music gigs and all the good stuff. It's not about buying a product, it's about having a good time. Because if you associate a store with the level of having a good time, a level of being friends somehow, that's who's going to be your first choice when you have a purchasing decision to make. There is a bicycle store in San Francisco. They do bike rides every Saturday at 10 a.m. That's their only marketing activity. Doing the bike ride every Saturday at 10 a.m. Hundreds of bikers come there and go on a bike ride with them. And of course, they're top of mind when it comes to purchasing decision or repairing decision of your bicycle. So that's retail.